Welcome back, listeners. We're about to walk through the front doors of Raccoon City's Spencer Memorial Hospital. It's a place of sterile white halls and the smell of antiseptic, a monument to human healing. But tonight, the elevators are traveling a bit deeper than the basement floor. We aren't just going to look at charts. We're looking at the cost of corporate secrets. Before we begin our rounds alongside Raccoon City's hospital teams, I want to remind you that your presence here is what keeps this frequency from flatlining. If you're enjoying the drift, please like this broadcast and subscribe to our channel. It's the only way to ensure the signal doesn't get lost in the static. And for those of you looking to support the project further, our links are waiting for you in the description below. Your support is the lifeblood of this channel. Now, the doctors, nurses, and patients are all waiting. And the truth they're about to uncover is a diagnosis that can't be ignored. The results are back, and they're terminal. Now, turn off the lights and settle in. The transmission starts now. Admin log, September 29th, 1998. Director Jonathan Pierce recording. For the record, I'm currently serving as the Director of Administration and Operations here at Spencer Memorial. While my days are now largely consumed by budgets, personnel allocation, and corporate liaison duties, I do remain a board-certified trauma surgeon with a fellowship in biochemical pathology. I mention this only to establish that my observations tonight are grounded in clinical reality, regardless of how the umbrella legal team chooses to interpret them. I'm initiating this audio chronology per the crisis documentation protocol faxed over earlier from the regional headquarters. Legal has been uncharacteristically insistent. They claim these logs are essential for fast-tracking emergency funding and processing insurance payout claims related to the civil unrest downtown. Personally, it feels like they're just looking for a paper trail to cover their assets if the city's infrastructure collapses any further. But if it keeps the lights on and the syringes stocked, I'll play narrator for the board. Situation tonight is, unprecedented. We've hit 110% capacity in the ER. I've issued a mandatory all-hands recall. Every nurse, orderly, and residents back on the clock. We've seen a staggering number of admissions for what the Raccoon Police Department's calling a violent flu. High fever, extreme agitation, respiratory distress. It's a massive influx for a night like tonight. I'm keeping my STARS field manual open on my desk tonight. Most people in the building see me as a suit, a paper pusher for umbrella, but I still spend 2 days a week over at the RPD precinct, working at the STARS office as their lead medical consultant. The team even gave me a commemorative plaque last month, named me an honorary STARS member for my work training their first responders in advanced field trauma and chemical triage. I told them I'm just doing my job, but looking at the chaos outside my window, I feel glad I spent those extra hours teaching them how to stabilize patients. If this flu's as bad as it looks, the city's going to need every trained medic we have. I just hope the specialized medical assets Umbrella promised are actually on the way. End of entry. Nurse Holloway, this is John Pierce. I'm calling hoping there's some good news about bed count in the West Wing. I guess there was a fire marshal inquiry earlier asking about hallway obstructions.
Director, we've hit the limit. I've got patients on folding chairs in the triage corridor. RPD just dropped off another 4 flu cases from the subway station, and the paramedics are saying the wait time for an offload is now 45 minutes. If we don't open the overflow ward in the old South Wing, we're going to have people standing in the parking lot.
Well, the South Wing's not ventilated for patient care. We haven't used those rooms for clinical work since the renovation in '88. But all right, if it's a choice between a parking lot and a dusty ward, it's no choice at all. So open up the South Wing. I'll authorize housekeeping to move some more linens down there. What's the clinical status for the new arrivals?
It's consistent with the earlier cases, but the volume, it's a wave. High fevers, we're talking 103, 104 across the board. They're dehydrated, disoriented, complaining of severe abdominal cramping, and we're running out of IV saline bags. I've got a dozen people in the waiting room, and they're starting to get irritable, to put it lightly. They're yelling at the staff, demanding to be seen. One man threw a magazine rack at an orderly just because we wouldn't give him more aspirin.
Well, irritability, not uncommon for high-grade fever. Don't take it personal. See if security has anyone available for an extra presence in the lobby. If patients are getting aggressive, it could be a neurological side effect. Has Dr. Arasat finished tox screens on the water samples? I'm still leaning towards a localized environmental contaminant.
He's still waiting on the lab results. Dr. Bard's team has priority on centrifuges, so our routine screens are sitting in a queue. It's frustrating, Director. My nurses are exhausted, and we're seeing weird things. Like the coffee ground emesis that you mentioned earlier. It's not everyone, but a few of the earlier admissions are showing signs of internal bleeding. Their bodies are clearly under immense stress, and the smell, it's like a locker room that hasn't been cleaned in a month.
Musk and sweat. High fever can do that. Listen, Holloway, I'm going to call RPD. I've spent enough time in the STARS office to know that the city's emergency reserves do include tactical medical kits. If we run out of saline or anything else, I'll see if they can release some of the STARS supply to us. I'll tell them I'm invoking my honorary STARS membership status if I have to. We need those supplies.
That would be a godsend, sir. We're also running low on the green herb tinctures you had us stocking. The nurses have been using it to calm the skin irritation on the patients who have been scratching at their arms. It seems to be the only thing that works better than standard hydrocortisone.
I'll see what I can do. Just keep things moving. Don't let the lobby get stagnant. Stagnant crowds lead to riots. Can't afford a riot inside the hospital. If a patient actually gets combative, please isolate them. We do need to protect the staff. I will call you back after I speak with RPD. That was Nurse Holloway on the phone. I should probably note for the record that Sarah Holloway has been the charge nurse of our emergency department for over 15 years. She was here before I was. In fact, she was the one who walked me through my first orientation to the West Wing. There isn't a single soul in this building who knows the flow of this hospital better than she does. When the city council cut our funding in '96, she was the one who figured out how to stretch our supplies without compromising patient care. She's tough. I've seen her stare down 200-pound drunks in the lobby without blinking. But I did hear a little tremor in her just now, I think. I've invited her to my first responder seminars over the months. She actually helped me refine the delivery method for the green herb tinctures. She suggested we stop trying to formulate them as pills and move to a topical format for the quicker absorption. And she was right. She's seen every seasonal bug and industrial accident this city's thrown at us for the last decade and a half. So for her to describe patients as irritable, well, it suggests a kind of aggression that doesn't fit the standard profile. Making a note to prioritize her department for any specialized assets Umbrella sends our way. If this hospital's a ship, Holloway's the hull, so if she cracks, we all go under. Update. Logistical strains reaching a breaking point. We're moving patients into mothballed wings of the hospital just to keep the lobby clear. Umbrella's funding better arrive soon because we are burning through our quarterly supply of basic medical sundries in a single night. I'm particularly concerned about the agitated behavior Nurse Holloway reported. I've seen similar reactions in my trauma seminars I've done, usually related to severe shock or chemical psychosis. I'm going to keep this STARS manual handy. If the situation escalates from a medical crisis to a security crisis, I need to be ready to advise the staff on more than just triage. For now, we treat, stabilize, and move on. End of entry.
RPD operations, this is Brandig speaking. Please tell me you're calling with the delivery of some extra units of patients because we are fresh out.
Afraid I'm fresh out of those too, Marv. It's John Pierce over at Spencer Memorial. How are things looking over on Ennerdale?
Doc, good to hear a sane voice. Things are a mess, John. We got riots by the gas station, subway backed up to the street, and my officers picking up fever cases faster than we can process them. I've been looking at your honorary stars plaque on our wall today. We were joking this morning that we should have drafted you into a uniform full-time. We could use a director of operations to help us manage our circus.
Careful what you wish for, Marv. I've got patients overflowing into the south wing, and my supplies are vanishing. Hey, listen, that's why I'm calling. I'm invoking that honorary STARS status. I need to know if I can tap into the STARS tactical medical reserves. I taught the seminars on the chemical trauma kits, and I know for a fact that the precinct is holding a surplus of first aid sprays and the high-grade herbal coagulants. My nursing staff's running on fumes, and Umbrella's supply chain is stalled, to put it politely.
God, I wish I could help you, Doc. I truly do, but after the July incident, after Wesker went missing, the STARS office was essentially mothballed by the chief. It's been a logistical nightmare. And all those specialized supplies, they're under a hard lock by the commissioner's office. I don't even have the key. Ever since Wesker died in the Arclay Mountains, everything related to that unit's been treated like a crime scene. Chief Irons has been breathing down our necks about unauthorized use of specialized equipment.
Wesker. You know, I still don't buy that he's just gone. But if the supplies are locked up because of internal politics while people are suffering in my lobby, it's a disgrace. How about Jill or Chris? Are they around? Maybe they can pull some strings.
Well, Chris is in Europe, and Jill, I haven't seen her since shift change. Honestly, Jonathan, the department's fracturing. I'm trying to keep the peace, but between the chief's mood swings and those flu cases getting violent, we're spread thin. I'll tell you what, if I can find a way into that locker without Chief Irons seeing me, I'll send a cruiser over with whatever I can smuggle out. You're one of us, Doc. We look after our own.
Hey, I appreciate it, Marvin, more than you know. If you send someone, have them go to the service entrance on 3rd, and I'll meet them personally. You stay safe out there. Don't let anything out there tonight get a piece of you.
You too, Doc. And hey, if you see any of those specialized assets Umbrella's supposed to send, tell them we could use some help here at the station, too. Brandig out.
Update. Just spoke with Marvin Brannig at RPD, and as suspected, the bureaucracy is choking our response. Even the STARS reserves are being withheld. Mentioning Wesker left a bad taste in my mouth. I worked with Albert for years on those medical protocols. He was cold, but he was efficient. His disappearance in the Arclay Mountains never sat right with me. And the way the STARS unit's been buried since then. Anyway, if Marvin can get those supplies to me, we might have a chance. If not, I'm going to have to deal with Dr. Bard. And I have a feeling that Nathaniel Bard is not going to be as honorary as my friends at the precinct. End of entry. Pierce here. Sarah, tell me the South Wing overflow's working. I'm seeing a line of people at the window wrapped around the ambulance bay.
It's a revolving door, Director. We just moved the flu cases to the south wing, but normal emergencies haven't stopped just because the city's been catching a cold.
Nurse! Help! Somebody frickin' help me!
I've got one guy in room 4. Typical cardiac presentation, crushing chest pains, radiating to the left jaw. I've got him on a nitro drip, but I need a cardiologist to sign off on the bypass if he doesn't stabilize. Is RSAT available?
Aerosat's stuck in triage C. Tell the residents to follow the standard ACS protocol. If the guy's vitals stay steady, we'll move him to the quiet ward. Who else do you have on your board?
I've got a 10-year-old. He's still in his Little League uniform. Sliding into home plate, took a nasty spiral fracture to the fibula. He's being a trooper, but his mother's hysterical because we don't have an open x-ray tech for at least another hour. I've got him in a temporary splint and sling for the shoulder, but we're running out of pediatric-sized stabilizers. And on top of that, I've got a car accident victim, lacerations, and a possible concussion, just waiting in the hallway on a folding chair.
A folding chair? Sarah, I know it's not ideal. Tell the kid's mom I'll personally ensure he gets the first slot when the tech returns from his break. Give the kid a popsicle from the staff lounge. Put it on my tab. As for the cardiac case, keep him monitored. If the flu patients sitting in the next room start getting loud again, just try to move him. I don't want a heart patient dealing with the stress of fever dreams.
Copy that. Oh, and Director, we've got a guy here. Looks like a construction worker. He's insisting he was bitten by a stray dog near the park. It's a clean puncture, but he's refusing a tetanus shot. He just wants to sit in the dark. It's too busy of a night to get the weird ones tonight.
It's a full moon, Sarah. The weird ones always find us. Just patch him up and get him a referral to the RPD Animal Control. I'll be down shortly to help with the paperwork. Just keep that kid comfortable, okay? I hate seeing kids come to the ER on a game night.
Will do, Director. Holloway out.
Admin log. Amidst the flu and the corporate mandates, we still have a hospital to run. Cardiacs, broken bones. The mundane tragedies don't wait for a crisis to end. I'm making a note to request extra pediatric supplies on the next requisition. It's easy to get lost in the biohazard memos and the STARS seminars, but when you see a 10-year-old in a sling, it reminds you why you took the director's chair in the first place. I'm feeling a bit better about the South Wing move. Lobby's clearing and fever cases are now isolated, so maybe we've turned the corner on the end of this night, huh? End of entry.
This is Leo from the pharmacy. Director Pierce, is that you? Please, I can't, and I shouldn't be on the phone.
Leo? Yeah, it's me. Why are you so quiet? Hey, listen, I was just looking at the stock manifest. I need you to send up another crate of the pediatric analgesics for a kid in the ER. What's the status on the floor?
Director Pierce, they're here. They just walked in about 5 minutes ago. A group of men in gray tactical fatigues, UBCS patches on their shoulders. They came in with Dr. Bard's personal assistants. They didn't even look at the staff, sir. They had a signed executive requisition order with an umbrella corporate seal that I've never seen before. It's a high clearance watermark.
An executive order? For what? Listen, the pharmacy's under my operational jurisdiction. Use your words, Leo.
Everything. They're taking everything. They've emptied the primary trauma lockers. Every single canister of the first aid spray we had in the specialized stock. They took the morphine, the intravenous sedatives, even the bulk of our distilled green herb tincture. The stuff you prepped for the STARS seminars. When I tried to tell them Nurse Holloway already had a deficit in triage, one of them...
Leo, stay with me. What happened?
Well, one of them, the one in charge, he just stepped right up into my space. He had silver hair, a cold Russian accent, and a scar running down his face that made my blood go cold. He didn't even yell. He just looked at me like I was a piece of equipment and told me that corporate assets take priority over civilian casualties. Sir, he's carrying an assault rifle in the hospital. They're acting like this is a combat zone.
Okay. Did Dr. Bard personally oversee this, or what?
Bard was on the internal comms, sir. I heard his voice over their radios. He was telling them to sanitize inventory, move everything to the B3 service elevator immediately. He said that specimens in the sublevels Needed the sedatives more than the lost causes in the south wing. Doctor, they're barricading the door to the research wing, and they even put a biohazard on the pharmacy's main cabinet after they emptied it.
All right, listen to me, Leo. Take a breath. I want you to go to the back stock room. There's an old refrigeration unit. We keep botanical samples from my research. Did they get into any private lockers, especially the one with the STARS logo on the padlock?
Hold on. No, it's still here. The padlock's intact. Maybe they missed it as a property of RPD sticker on the door. They probably thought it was just a police evidence locker. Maybe they didn't want the paperwork.
Good. That's our life insurance. Leo, I want you to open that locker. Inside, you'll find about a dozen blue herb mixtures, some high-potency green herb tinctures I prepped for the team. I want you to split up that stock, put half of it in a laundry cart, cover it with some soiled linens. Get it up to Nurse Holloway and triage right away. Take the other half, bring it up to my office. If any of those thugs stop you, tell them you're on a direct order from the director of operations. Don't mention the herbs. You tell them you're just moving contaminated waste for disposal. You understand?
Laundry cart. Okay, contaminated waste. But sir, what if they see me? What if that Russian guy...
They're looking for umbrella assets, Leo. They're not looking for a tech moving laundry. Use the service stairs. Stay off the main elevators. I'm going to have a pointed conversation with Dr. Bard. If he thinks he can turn my hospital into a supply depot for whatever those guys are, he's going to find out how much honorary authority I have. Just get moving, Leo. Pierce out. Nurse Holloway, it's John. I'm assuming the supply delivery from Leo reached you. I want to make sure the triage team is actually using those tinctures. It's the only thing that'll keep the skin irritation from turning into a full-blown incident in the lobby.
It arrived, Director. Thank you. We've started applying the green herb ointment to the more agitated cases, but I do have to report some strange vitals. The construction worker, the one who claimed he was bitten, his heart rate, it's dropped to 40. He's stable, technically, but he's just sitting there staring. He's not responding to the lidocaine either. He's completely passive.
A heart rate of 40? Wow. Well, it's likely a side effect of whatever viral strain we're dealing with. The body's probably trying to conserve energy to fight the fever. Just keep him on monitor. As long as he's breathing and passive, he's low priority for now compared to the cardiac cases. What's the status of the South Wing?
It's quiet. Really quiet, actually. The patients who were yelling an hour ago, they've mostly stopped. They're standing by their beds or sitting on the floor, and there's an odor. It's heavy, like, I don't know. It's coming from the vents in the South Wing.
That'll probably be the industrial cleaning agents we're pumping through the system. I told maintenance to double the bleach ratio to satisfy the health inspectors. It's unpleasant, but better than a cross-contamination lawsuit. Hey, how's that kid doing, the baseball player?
He's fine. A little scared. His mother's been making a bit of a scene because a few of the fever patients have wandered out of their rooms into the hallway near the pediatric wing. She's a little worried about some of the more unregulated patients being there.
God, I don't need a PR nightmare on top of a flu season. Listen, let's move them. Take the kid and his mother up to the admin wing. There's a quiet lounge next to my office with a television and some actual pillows. It'll get him out of your hair for a bit and keep the mother from calling the local news about wandering patients. Just good operational management. We'll keep him there till that x-ray tech gets back.
You know, that would actually help a lot. It's one less fire to put down out here. What about the wandering patients? Should I call security to escort them back to their beds?
Yeah, but tell them to be gentle. They're disoriented, not criminals. Just guide them back to the South Wing, lock the swinging doors. Not a lockdown, just a directional flow measure. You have to keep the flu cases separated from the other routine trauma cases. Oh, and has Dr. Arisep paged you back? I haven't heard from him in 20 minutes.
No, sir. He headed back to the lab to check on the blood gas results. I imagine Dr. Bard's cornering him with more corporate data requests. You know how Nathaniel gets when he has an audience. Anyway, I have to go. Some of the patients are getting a little unruly.
Nurse! Get me a turkey sandwich!
Yeah, tell me about it. I'll walk down that way and see if I can pry the doctor loose. I need the reports before I file my log for the night. Get that kid up there and his mom. All right, Sarah? Pierce out. Admin log update. We're continuing the compartmentalization of the hospital. I've authorized moving a pediatric patient to the admin wing, purely a preventative measure to avoid a civilian complaint. The flu cases are entering a lethargic stage, which is actually easing the strain on the nursing staff. I'm going to check with the lab. If the blood gas results come back with a localized toxin, we can start the discharge process for the milder cases and maybe get a little breathing room. It's a long night, but we're maintaining order. Protocols holding. End of entry.
Security, Nelson speaking. Sorry, sir, I was just clearing the stairwell in the north wing. It's a madhouse down here.
Hey, it's okay, Nelson. Just take a second. I need a status update on the south wing perimeter. Nurse Holloway had reported wandering patients by the pediatric unit. I thought I'd mentioned that I needed you to keep those doors locked and maintain directional flow.
We did lock them in, sir. That's the problem. I'm standing at the door to 2B right now. The magnetic lock is engaged, but the glass is cracked. Looks like someone was leaning their entire weight against it for 20 minutes. I've got 3 fever patients just standing on the other side. They aren't trying to get through anymore. They're just looking through the glass. It's making the nurses on the floor very nervous, sir.
Well, they're probably disoriented. High fevers do cause delirium. Maybe they see the light in the hallway and they're trying to get back to a familiar area. Try using the intercom and see if they'll return to their beds. If they don't comply, grab a couple of orderlies and just guide them back. I can't have them congregating at the exits.
Well, that's just it, sir. I tried the intercom. I even tapped on the glass with my baton. They didn't even blink. And, sir, something else happened 10 minutes ago. Those specialists, the ones with the tactical gear, one of their teams came through the service entrance. They were carrying one of their own, a big guy. Looked like he'd been in a wreck. But when they moved past me, I saw his arm. He had a bite wound. A deep one. Right through his tactical sleeve. He was shaking and shouting something in a language I didn't recognize.
A bite? From what? Another stray dog bite?
I don't think so, sir. The way the others were looking at him, they looked terrified of him. They skipped triage. I offered to call Nurse Holloway, but one of them just shoved me aside. They dragged the wounded man straight to the B3 service elevator. They had a key card that overrode the entire system. They're down there now. They've got a guard posted at the lift with a submachine gun.
They bypassed triage? Well, that's against protocol. And health safety laws, too. If that man has an infection, he should be looked at by our staff. Listen, Nelson, stay away from that elevator for now. See if I can get a hold of Bard. Get the patients back to their beds, lock the manual latches if the magnets are failing, and report back to me later. Hey, Nelson, keep your flashlight handy. If power starts fluctuating, I don't want anybody tripping in the dark.
Copy that, sir. I'll get the orderlies. Nelson out.
Morgue, Thomas speaking. Please tell me you're calling to tell maintenance the North Bay compressor's fixed, Director.
I'm working on it, Thomas. It's Pierce. Listen, I'm hearing reports of unauthorized activity in the service corridors near your wing. What's the status on the intakes? I saw a manifest for 6 fatalities earlier.
It's a mess, Jonathan. But it's not just the volume. 20 minutes ago, I caught a researcher. I think it was Dr. Rover from the university. He was sneaking around the intake base. Looked like he hadn't slept in a week. He was looking for a specific arrival. A John Doe from the north side. He was frantic. Kept muttering about a P-base shipment that went missing and some V-series botanical samples. He even tried to take a blood sample from a cadaver before I could even get a tag on it.
Douglas? What's he doing in our morgue looking for chemical bases? We're not a laboratory for the university. He should be over at the Spencer Memorial Research Wing if he's doing any corporate work.
I couldn't tell you, sir. He was nearly in tears. He said something about the secret in the sublevels and how we're running out of time.
He didn't even stay for the paperwork. But, Director, after he left, I started hearing something. The refrigeration unit in Bay 4, I've checked the thermostat 3 times. It's sitting at 34 degrees, but I can hear scratching, like someone left a stray cat in the ventilation. Or the patients inside are shifting against the metal.
Thomas, it's been a 16-hour shift already. The mind plays tricks in a room that quiet. Maybe it's the metal expanding or cooling coils contracting. We are pushing the generators hard tonight, and we've got a lot of extra equipment in the ER. As for Rover, it's weird, but he is high-strung. I'll try paging him and see what he's doing down in our sublevels.
It's not the metal, sir. I know the difference between a cooling pipe and a movement. And the smell, it's getting through the seals. It doesn't smell like a standard cadaver. It's chemical. Like bleach mixed with something rotten. I worked in this basement for 12 years. I've never had to wear a mask just to stand in the prep room. And I'm telling you, whatever Rover was looking for, I think it's already in the bay.
All right, listen, Thomas, if you're smelling chemicals, I want you to close the intake vents and just move to the upper office. If there was a spill during one of the transfers, don't go investigating the refrigeration units yourself. Don't need a workman's comp claim just because you inhaled something toxic, you know?
I understand, Director. I'm locking the prep room now, but if you find Rover, ask him what he was so worried about. He kept scratching at his arm like it was inflamed, muttering about the itch. It gave me the creeps.
I'll look into it, Thomas. Go get yourself some fresh air. Pierce out. P-base. I've seen that label on requisitions for the sublevels. I thought it was a stabilizer for blood gas centrifuges, but Douglas Rover doesn't cross the city in a riot for a stabilizer. And then itch. Holloway mentioned the construction worker was scratching at his wound too. If this viral stain causes a localized epidermal irritation alongside the bradycardia, I might have to go down there. I want to see what has Douglas Rover so terrified. If he's right about a spill in the sublevels, then this flu isn't an outbreak. It's a leak.
Director? It's Taylor down in B2. I'm standing by the main filtration tank for the west wing. I know you've got a madhouse upstairs, but there's something weird going down here. The pressure in the intake line from the city's sewer just spiked. Well, it sounds like something is breathing inside the primary cistern.
Breathing, Taylor? Could it be a vacuum lock in the pumps? I know we've had the backup generators on all night. Vibration does travel through the pipes.
I've been the lead on this system for a long time, Jonathan. Pumps don't growl. And the smell, it's not sewage. It's like swamp water and raw fish. I'm looking into the observation port and the water's thick, like some kind of gelatin. There's something white and bloated floating just beneath the surface. I thought it was a body at first, but it's too big. Much too big. I'm gonna open the manual bypass to see if I can flush it out.
All right, well, Taylor, don't open anything. If there is a biological obstruction, we need to treat it as a contaminant. Lock the gate. Get yourself back to the upper levels. I've already lost contact with the south wing. I don't need my head of facilities disappearing in a septic tank.
I'll be quick. I need to know what's clogging my line. I'll call you back when the pressure drops. Good luck. Taylor out.
Director Pierce here. Hey, Nurse Maggie, I was looking at the lobby cameras. Why are people standing in the ambulance bay? I thought we directed overflow to the south wing.
Director, the south wing is full. We've got people coming in from the street who aren't even part of the outbreak. I've got a Mr. Gable who just arrived. He was working in the garage and took 2 fingers off on a table saw. He's bleeding out on a plastic bench because I don't have a clean suture kit left on this floor. And I've got a delicate intake in exam room 2. A gentleman who fell on a household object. He's in a lot of pain, but I can't even get a resident to look at him because we're dealing with all the fever cases.
A table saw? In the middle of a riot? God help us. Listen, Maggie, I know you know this. Just put a pressure wrap on him. If we don't have suture kits, use the industrial adhesive from the maintenance closet. I've taught field medics how to use it for closures. It'll hold until morning. As for exam room 2, give him a sedative and a privacy curtain. He's going to have to wait. We have to prioritize the life threats.
That's the thing, sir. We just had a woman in the 3rd row. Came in with the flu symptoms, and she just coded. Right there, in the lobby. 1 minute, she was shivering. The next, she just slumped. I've got 2 orderlies trying to start a line, but... Oh, my God. Director, hold on.
Maggie, what's happening? Talk to me.
It's the waiting room. 2 patients are fighting. The construction worker who was waiting for his bite treatment, he just lunged at a guy who's got a broken leg. They're on the floor. Security! Security, lobby B! Jonathan, he bit him. He took a chunk out of the man's neck. There's blood everywhere. It's not stopping.
Okay, Maggie, get back. Get away from him. Don't try to intervene.
I gotta go. They're coming over the triage desk.
Admin log, supplemental. Just received word of a violent altercation in the main lobby. One of the patients assaulted another patient. I've authorized security to use physical restraints. God help me, I never thought I'd be signing off on shackling patients in our lobby, but safety above all else. While reviewing the operational costs for the South Wing move, I did come across a discrepancy in the transit logs. We've had 3 shipments of high-density biological waste move through the service elevators tonight, destined for the Nest facility. I've seen that acronym on umbrella internal ledgers before. I always assumed it was more regional storage or a deep-level filtration plant, but billing codes attached to these shipments are astronomical. We're talking specialized cryogenic transport and level 4 biocontainment fees. Why is a public hospital in the middle of a citywide flu outbreak acting as a waypoint for any kind of deep research facility? And the signatures on these manifests, they're not coming from the hospital board. They're coming directly from Dr. Bard's private office. If Bard is using this hospital as a front porch for whatever Nest is, I think the board of directors might have some serious explaining to do. I'm an administrator, not a smuggler. Might have to head down to the archives. I'd like to see some original sub-level blueprints. I'd like to know where those waste elevators lead. If Nest is what's causing the air quality to drop in the morgue, we'll have to shut down the intake valves. End of entry. Thomas? Thomas? I've seen a power surge in the basement levels. I thought I told you to get to the upper office. Are you still down there?
Director, I can't get out. The service door's jammed from the outside. Something hit the door so hard the frame buckled. I'm in the cold storage locker, the small one.
Listen to me. Stay calm. I'm going to call security. What did you see, Thomas? Was it a flu patient?
No, it wasn't a person. I saw it through the observation glass before the lights flickered. It was one of those things from the lab. It was like a man, but with red, pulsating growths all over its back, and it moved so fast. It didn't walk. It leaped. It took Dr. Arasat. He didn't even have time to scream.
A red growth? Thomas, are you sure? That sounds kind of like the experimental biological assets Bart had talked about. If those are loose...
They are loose, and it's not just them. There's something else in the vents. It looks like a mass of vines, like a man-shaped thing made out of leeches or... I don't know. It's been drinking blood from the floor, John. It just absorbs it. I can hear it sliding against the metal doors of the refrigeration units. It's looking for the samples Rover was talking about. Oh, God, it's here. It followed the scent. Director, please tell my wife. Tell her...
Thomas, hold the door. Thomas, hang on. Thomas.
Jonathan, it's Nurse Holloway. I'm in the South Wing observation room, and we have a problem with the woman who coded earlier. The one Maggie mentioned from the lobby.
Wait, I thought she was being moved. How are you having a problem with her if she's in the morgue?
Because she's not in the morgue. The orderlies brought her into the overflow ward to wait for a gurney. She was flatlined for 12 minutes, Jonathan. I checked her vitals myself. No pulse, no respiration, fixed pupils. We even called the time of death. But she's moving.
All right, Sarah, focus. Is it a spasm? Maybe the viral load was high enough you can see postmortem muscular contractions? It does happen with certain neurorespiratory strains. Maybe a biological reflex?
It's not a spasm. She sat up slowly. And the monitor, the EKG is still showing a flat line. There's zero electrical activity in her. But she's looking around the room. And the construction worker, the one with the bite, he's standing in the corner. He's not attacking anyone. He's sniffing the air like he's tracking something. Jonathan, these people, they're not sick. Their skin is starting to fall off like rapid onset decomposition, but they're upright.
All right, Sarah, listen. Get this staff out of that ward. Lock the swinging doors. You still have a master key? Use the override.
I can't. The doors are already locked from the outside. Dr. Bard's team, they came through 3 minutes ago. They didn't help us. They just swiped a card, and the magnetic locks engaged. We're trapped in here with them. And the woman is starting to make this sound like a wet, rattling moan, and she's looking at the nurses.
Sarah, listen. In the supply closet, look for the specialized first aid kits. There should be concentrated blue herb canisters in there. It's a powerful antitoxin. If there's a chemical agent involved, maybe this will buy you some time. Spray it in the ventilation intake for that room. Maybe it'll neutralize the...
Oh, God, get back! Get back!
Sarah? Sarah? Admin log. I just lost contact with Nurse Holloway. I heard her screaming over the line. I'm not sure what's going on. I've tried to call the security desk, but I'm getting static. Internal comms are failing. The kid in the pediatric unit with his mom, I've told them to lock themselves in the executive break room and not to open it for anyone but me. And now I get this fax, a priority red fax from the Nest administration office signed by Dr. Bard. He's calling it an equipment failure in the sublevels. A goddamn equipment failure. The wording is incredibly vague, even for Nathaniel. He's reporting uncontrolled kinetic energy in the B3 containment sector and demanding that all internal security be diverted to the service elevators. He's asking for high tensile restraint teams. Restraint teams for what? If a centrifuge breaks, you call a mechanic. You don't call a riot squad. I heard my head nurse sound like she was being torn apart in triage, and I'm getting faxes about localized breaches and compromised ventilation seals. He knows something. He knows exactly what's going on, and we're treating it like a plumbing issue to keep liability off their desks. I'm done. I'm done with logs and corporate reports. If there's a breach, we need to know what the answers are. End of entry.
Jonathan, pick up, damn it. Oh, God, it's not a clog. Jonathan, it's a mouth. It's all mouth.
All right, Taylor, slow down. Where are you?
I'm in the filtration room. It came out of the cistern. It looks like some giant, pale frog, but it doesn't have any eyes. It just has this massive jaw. They took my assistant, Jonathan. Miller was standing right by the edge. The thing it surged out of the water. It didn't even bite. It just opened up and took him. Whole. He's still screaming in there, Jonathan, but the sound, it's muffled. It's like, oh, God.
Taylor, get out of there. Get to the maintenance ladder.
I can't. There's another one blocking the service door. It's just sitting there. I think it's waiting for me to move. It's so big. How did something that big get into our pipes, Jonathan? Oh God, it's looking at me. I could feel it. Oh God, it's opening its...
Taylor? Taylor, answer me. Admin log, Director John Pierce. I've been looking at South Wing blood gas results for almost an hour. We've all been trying to fit them into a viral flu model, and we were all wrong. This is not a flu. This is not even a standard pathogen. The protein markers in the fever cases, they match the T-series biological research Bard's been hiding. It's a viral-induced cellular reanimation. It's a weapon that feeds on its own hosts. But I found a countermeasure. Tucked inside an encrypted subdirectory in Bard's private files was a formula for a synthetic antigen. He called it a V-base suspension, and if my research at the university holds up, this isn't just a stabilizer, it's a blueprint for a cure. It's the only way to stop necrosis before it hits the brainstem. The mass production synthesizer is located in our B3 sublab. If I can get to that terminal and initialize a sequence, I can produce enough of this to stabilize anyone, any survivors. The city doesn't have to burn. I'm going to head out soon. I'm going to bring my master key and every canister of the herb extract I have left. I'll have to call RPD. I have to tell them to keep some terminals open. If I can get physical vials out of the building, well, we'll see. This is Director Jonathan Pierce. I'm going to try to finish what I've started. End of log.
RPD Main Hall, Officer Ryman speaking. If you're calling to report a riot, we're booked up. Try again in another lifetime.
Hey, Kevin. It's John Pierce at Spencer Memorial. Put the jokes aside for a second. I don't have much time.
Doc, good to hear a voice that isn't screaming. We're wondering where our favorite honorary STARS member's been hiding. Right now we're in the main hall, turning it into a giant wooden crate. Marvin's orders. Trying to make a safe zone for survivors.
Listen to me, Kev. I found a digital blueprint for a synthetic antigen, a vaccine. I just realized what we're dealing with. It's a virus, Kevin. A manufactured one. I'm heading down there now to initialize mass production sequence on the Umbrella servers. If I can get a synthesizer running, I'm going to need you or Marvin to coordinate an armed escort to get these vials to the precinct. It's the only way out for Raccoon City.
A vaccine? Doc, are you for real? If you've got a cure for whatever's turning our city to a morgue, better move like your life depends on it. We're sealing the main gates in 45 minutes. Once those boards go up, we're locking down till the military arrives. Marvin and Mackenzie are already reporting breaches in the side corridors.
I'm not coming yet. I have to start the synthesis first. Just tell Marvin to keep the terminal open for the STARS office network. I can broadcast raw data to his desk the second I hit the upload button. That way, if I don't make it back to RPD, the data lives on in your servers. It's the only evidence that can stop this.
Copy that. I'll let Marvin know to stay on the terminal. And hey, John, don't go playing hero unless you have to. We'll keep a light on for you in the lobby. Ryman out.
Nathaniel, I know you're there. I'm looking at your private requisition fax now. Equipment failure? Is that what you call it while my nurses are being slaughtered in the halls?
Jonathan, I'm surprised you're still using the internal lines. I'd have thought you'd be halfway to the suburbs by now. You always did have a penchant for staying until the end of shift.
I'm staying because I have patients and staff that I'm responsible for. I found files on the B3 server. I know about the V-base. I know about the antigen.
The antigen? Jonathan, you're a hospital administrator. You're out of your depth. That blueprint you found is proprietary Umbrella data. It's not a cure for the masses. It's a controlled asset for the company's internal recovery. You should not have been poking around in my subdirectory. It's unprofessional.
Unprofessional? You've turned this hospital into a slaughterhouse. You're sitting on the only vaccine in the city while the RPD is boarding up their doors. I've talked to RPD. I'm initializing the synthesizer. I'm going to broadcast that data to every terminal in the state. I'm going to make your asset public domain.
You aren't doing anything, Jonathan. Do you really think Umbrella hasn't accounted for a hero like you? Look at your security feed. The UBCS doesn't just seize pharmacies. They've been instructed to sanitize any operational data that isn't under my direct control, including you.
Sanitize? You're going to kill your own director of operations?
I'm not doing anything. The city is in a state of chaos. Tragedies happen. If I were you, I'd leave the vaccine alone and find a dark corner to hide in. But you won't. You'll go to the B3 lab, you'll try to be the savior, and you'll find that Umbrella's investments are a lot more durable than a doctor's oath. Goodbye, Jonathan.
If anyone's still left on the employee line, or anyone still listening to this frequency, or anyone hearing this recording, listen carefully. I'm leaving my office. I've spent the last few hours trying to manage a crisis with paperwork and protocols, but that time has passed. I've identified a specific synthetic antigen in the sub-level directories, a vaccine, or as close to one as we're ever going to get. I'm heading down to the B3 labs. My goal is to initialize the synthesizer and secure digital blueprints. If I can get back up here, I'm going to patch the data through to RPD and to the university. We have a chance to stop the spread of this. To the staff in the West Wing, stay behind barricades. To RPD, if you hear this, Kevin, Marv, Mackenzie, keep that terminal open. If I'm not back on this line in 20 minutes, don't wait for me. Just get as many people out as possible. This is Director Jonathan Pierce, and it's time to start acting like I own the place. I'm heading down. I'll come back with an update. Admin log. I don't know how I'm still breathing. The descent to B3, it was a graveyard. Not just bodies, but pieces. And the silence is the worst part. There's no more sirens. No more gurneys rattling. No more patients screaming for help. Just this heavy, cold silence that feels like it's pressing against my chest. Spencer Memorial Hospital's dead. I made it to the lab. I got the vials. But as I stepped out of the clean room, one of these umbrella teams was waiting. 3 of them. And they had me at gunpoint. I was held like a criminal in my own house of healing. They were going to sanitize the witness. I saw the look in the lead merc's eyes. He was going to pull the trigger. And then one of the pipes burst, and one of those frog things, it surged out of the vent. It was massive. It didn't even look at me. It just opened its jaw and swallowed the lead merc whole right in front of me. I ran and I didn't look back. I crawled through the maintenance ducts, covered in God knows what, but I have it. I have the vials, and the data is almost done. I'm uploading it through the uplink, and I'm going to make the call. I'm going to head to the roof. We're going to win this. We're going to save the survivors. There's hope. Raccoon City is not a tomb. Oh my God. What the hell is that thing? Stars. Jesus, no, help me. I have the cure. Somebody help me.
Hello, you've reached the office of Dr. Jonathan Pierce. Since you're calling, you probably know we're gearing up for Spencer Memorial's 20th anniversary celebration next week. We're so proud of the work we've done for Raccoon City. I'm currently away from my desk, but if you leave me a message, I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And as for the anniversary, it's going to be a beautiful night, and I can't wait to see all of you there to toast to another 20 years of healing and hope. Just leave a name, a brief message, and remember, the best is yet to come.